Alright guys, so it is the end of the year 2023. We are about to enter 2024, which is crazy because I thought 2012 was going to be the end of the world when I was a kid. But here we are, more than 10 years later. Alhamdulillah, the world has not ended yet. I thought it'd be cool to have a Q&A to end this year off strong, even though this isn't the last video of the year. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of talk about just all the changes that has happened and answer some of you guys' questions because a lot of changes has happened. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the questions. So I don't know 100% yet what all my goals for 2024 are yet. I have to sit down and really think about them because I've tried the whole New Year's resolution thingy, and unfortunately, if you're not strict with yourselves, they just don't end up happening. I think next year, for the first time ever, I'm going to make a list of actual goals that I want to attain, and I'm going to work extremely hard to nail those goals out. So at the end of this year, I'm going to write like maybe 10 or 11 strict goals for myself that I want to attain in 2024. And that's pretty much like what I'm going to be working super hard towards. I've been really leaning into the side of journaling after I got married to kind of help myself spend more time with myself. Life after marriage is different, you know? I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and say like, oh no, it's not different at all. It's not so different, right? It's not like a 180 degrees complete change difference, but it's pretty different. To this day, I still use a non-ruled journal. There's just something so unique about having a journal that's just a blank page. I don't like to treat journals like a Dear Diary. So as of right now, I find it best for me to use a non-ruled journal. The way that I view journaling is you take your inner dialogue and you put it on paper, right? To kind of make it a reality. I like to put things down on paper, whether it's my visions or my goals. Sometimes I'll even have like a movie script of me talking to myself like the main character, and I'll even write that down in my journal. My intention with this year was just change. I think I was able to really see life as this bigger picture now, whereas when I was younger, I was looking at it as very impatient. I wanted things to happen in a 1 year span. In the essence of learning to be patient with myself, I look at life as this big, gigantic picture now, and I'm in this little tiny chapter, and I still have the end of my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, inshallah, if Allah gives me that long of a life. It's going to take years to do what you want to do, Yusuf. It's going to take years for you to get to that stage that you want to get to, you know? So be patient and just sit in it. 2023 being the year of change, I think going into 2024, it's going to be a year of growth, right? A lot of people mistaken change from growth. Yes, there is some growth that happens in your changing era, but when you're finally able to graduate from that chapter and kind of look at yourself and say, okay, I just want to build, I just want to grow, I just want to keep growing and going and going and going. And what's the next step? You're looking forward instead of looking inside and looking back, then you can finally transition. So that's kind of what I've been feeling. So from a young age, I'd say I always loved cameras and movies and film and everything. I grew up watching a lot of animations. I grew up absolutely loving travel video vlogs, and I was just obsessed from a young age. I was absolutely obsessed with color grading, with composing a shot. Like the creative eye was just something that I was always polishing from a young age. I have an uncle from my mom's side who got me and my sister into interior design and telling us his opinions. When you're around people that have a very strong opinion about a certain color or a very strong opinion about a certain aesthetic, then it kind of makes you question yourself. For example, if you're like, you won't know that you like these flowers until someone else is like, oh, I hate these flowers look disgusting, they look ugly and everything, right? But in your mind, you're gonna be like, no, I actually kind of like these flowers. They're white, they go with the curtains, it contrasts as well with the black over here, and it goes well with it really helps bring the greens out, right? Like you'll have all these thoughts. So, and as I get older, I realize that I'm leaning a lot more into that side of me. I'm kind of really leaning into my love and my desire to create a space, to create outfits, to curate certain like looks in my apartment, you know, which inshallah one day will become a house. Why Sarah? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote her for me. I'm gonna be honest, I never liked the term balancing your deen and your dunya. It sounds like you have to be like this split personality type, or you have to live a double life. So I would say take the advice of you are a man and you are accountable of your own actions and you are accountable of your own thoughts. That's the only thing that you can control, right? Try your best to learn about the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, because he was a walking role model for us and he was a man himself. So that's my opinion on like how to balance both deen and dunya, because he was great at merging them both. So in college, I studied business and marketing for 1 year And then when COVID hit, I dropped out because at the time I was very unsure about what I wanted to do in college, and I didn't really know what direction to go in. So COVID time presented itself as a good opportunity for me to focus on content. And when I did drop out, yes, it was scary. It was a very scary decision, but I knew that it wasn't the end of the world. I knew that college wasn't like, I'm gonna be honest, I knew that it wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. Like, I went in there to study business and marketing. That should already tell you like the type of personality characteristic that I had. I always wanted to lean into entrepreneurship. I wanted to do what the people I was watching online do. You know, I grew up watching entrepreneurs. I grew up looking up to people on YouTube and whatnot. So it's just, for me, it's crazy surreal that I get to do what I do now, which is, you know, make videos online for a living, and I help brands and whatnot promote their products and their services as well. If you're watching this and you are someone who wants to become a YouTuber or an influencer, know and understand that the fact that you're watching this video and you're hearing someone talk about being a content creator full time, it just proves that that's a sign that you should probably pull the trigger and give it your best shot. I'm not saying to completely disregard college and university in that sense, but we live in a time where you can literally be making so much money. And although I was studying business and marketing in college, I have learned so much more than what any university can ever give me, specifically when it comes to business. I have learned so much more in marketing. I've learned so much more about the real world of business. I've learned so much more. So for me, the trade-off of spending thousands of dollars in tuition and going to school and being in a classroom didn't really entice me to go in that direction. So I'm really glad that I kind of pulled away from it and it worked out for me. I would say romanticizing it as best as I can. Dr. Andrew Huberman's protocol has honestly changed my life. So romanticizing to get up in the morning, to do your protocol, to go to the gym, to take your supplements, to drink your coffee, to read your book, like script, to read, to write, to post, to film. For me, that's my version of what work looks like, right? Romanticizing it is pretty much the key to staying disciplined. At least that's what I found. That's what helps me stay disciplined. So whatever that may be for you guys, whether you're in dental school or you're in pre-med or you're just starting out in high school or you're just starting out in your journey as a freelancer or something, romanticize whatever the heck you're doing. What are you going to be? A loser at the end of the day? You're going to be someone who doesn't achieve their goals? You're going to let your desires and the things that are bad for you take over you and consume you? No, that's not acceptable. So recently, Kith collaborated with Birkenstock, and they made these Birkenstock Londons with like a braided thing on the side. You can literally pull it off with a streetwear outfit as well as a very dressed up, like you're going out to dinner type of outfit. I wouldn't necessarily say there was a switch in maturity, because I think I knew that I was ready for marriage when I realized that there was a lot of change happening in my life and I was pretty good at figuring things out. Now I'll add to that and say that across all domains of my life, discipline, patience, and perseverance towards everything was a pretty standard thing in my life. A lot of people say that it's patience and communication, but I would argue that it's actually comprehension and conflict resolution. If not, it's even more important. Because you can argue all you want with your wife or your husband, but if you can't come together and resolve that conflict, then that'll just bring up even more problems, right? There's no place for greed and ego. The moment you start using language like me, or I did this, or you do that, or never, or always, or those terms, just should not ever be on the table, because the moment you start using those types of things, you're kind of putting yourself in a bad position. You're setting yourself up for failure. In the past, it was Zara, but now it's more of like Costs and Cole Buxton. I kind of get my clothes from a lot of different places. It's not the smartest to buy all of your clothes from one place, because usually those places have one designer only, or a couple of designers that are all building in towards one aesthetic. But you want to be able to mix and match different designers, like clothing and stuff, you know, and kind of put together like an outfit of your own. I would say neither. I don't really see myself as Pakistani or Filipino, as weird as that is. I kind of just be Yusuf, you know, like whatever makes me me, that's what I like to be. I don't really have a preference. I'm just a human. I'm just a guy doing my thing. I would say spend more time alone. Spend more time alone. Spend more time with your thoughts, and self-reflect. Reflect a lot. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Reflect on your mistakes. Reflect on the things that you could have done better. Ask yourself, like, what can I do better in this moment? What can I do better in this chapter? Ask yourself questions like, Who do I want to become? What are the goals that I want to do? You know, questions like that. Journal, read, move your body. It's not that hard, you know, it's not that hard. It's very simple, very, very simple. Every self-help, self-improvement guru will tell you the same thing. There's no pill or there's no hack, there's no routine that's going to take you from point A to point B. The only thing that can take you from point A to point B is you. That's it. Forget about motivation, forget about discipline, just do. Just do what's required, do what needs to be done, and I guarantee you your life will get a lot better. I'll end off this Q&A with a lot of people asking how do they find meaning and purpose in their life. I would say if you're in a position in your life where you feel lost, if you're in a position in your life where you don't know what's going on, sit in it and be patient with yourself. For the most part, I'm pretty sure you're young. You're probably between the ages of 16 and 25 if you're watching this video, and you don't have to have it all figured out yet. You know, I'm 23. I've been documenting my life here and there on this channel since I was 20 or 19 or something like that. And you can look back at the videos over there. I don't even know what I was doing that time. And only now am I getting a good understanding of who I want to be and what I want to do. Going back to the beginning of this video, I am finally able to see life as a big picture, and I'm more patient with myself. So I encourage you all to do the same. If you haven't joined the family yet, then I don't know what's stopping you. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.